Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 5 of Big Deck Energy. This week we're going to be going over U.S. Nationals, as well as international nationals. And then, I don't know how else to put that.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
And then we'll be talking about a new product coming out as well. Around the Table, a collaboration with Talarian Community College and LSS.
Yeah, that just dropped like an hour before we started recording, so we got kind of lucky there.
Yes, it did.
Got
some good news to talk about.
Let's talk about nationals. I think we have some very different experiences about it this year.
Yeah, I was really sad you guys couldn't share that experience with me. I was lucky enough to go there with my beautiful wife.
There you go.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was cool for her to see me in that element, honestly. She's never really kind of experienced that side of, my life, really. And yeah, she's like walked into the room and there's like the 500 some people there. And she just was blown away, really.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah, a lot of
there was
a lot of players there, man.
A lot of side events too.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with the side events actually, but I'll bring that stuff up later.
Yeah. So what did you did you play in nationals, or were you there for the side events?
I was there. Yeah. So I was there on the weekend. I played in all sorts of different things. So I went 16-5-1 throughout the blitz portion, the calling, and the PTI. Best I could muster was 31st in the PTI, which, I mean, I'm definitely not mad about at all. That was, like, more than I could have ever expected, really. I played really well. I misplayed a few times in that day one. One interaction cost me probably the top 8 there. Day 2, started the day off with a loss, so I kind of was, like, bummed out there in the calling, and then rallied 2 wins. I think I took a picture of my second round opponent. He just didn't show up. I think I showed you guys that one. So
yeah.
Got a free win there. And then ended up losing to the guy I lost to day 1. The Dash player. Again, I'll get into that later. You guys heard all about that with my secret tech that I didn't tech in.
Yep.
But yeah, so then after that, I basically went like 9-1 in the blitz stuff. So like kind of caught on fire after that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Which was nice. Cheyenne was humming. I ended up playing Lexi.
Were you playing Cheyenne in the blitz events?
Yeah. 4-1 with her.
No. Yep. Hold on.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
you guys. I thought I had mentioned it. Honestly, it was so busy that like I wished I could have like shared more and talked to you guys more about everything. Like
no, I didn't know you were on.
Well,
Cheyenne
you're rushing from side event to the next side event.
Okay.
So it's like
brings me into,
you got no time.
Yeah. Brings me into something I wanted to say that I'm glad you brought up. I'm gonna be ranting here a little bit, you guys. But
no, share with us.
The side of the way all the events were set up, were like you had to like really get from one to the other, and if you were like doing well, you couldn't really like drop and play the side events. Like they had it set up each day where like you had to be kind of lucky to end the day well and then like have time for side events, or you just like drop, which I don't know. It felt like I never had time. I was just racing around the entire convention center,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I did have time to play the side events, they were awesome. They were definitely sharky. There was a lot of good players in the side events just destroying the casuals. I'll say that, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I played Lexi though, like I was saying, and she gets bullseye bracers and blitz, so she's just like.
As she should.
Yeah. It's just like better Lexi, or the Lexi we're used to, and she was killing it in blitz for me. And then day 3, again, I started with a loss in the Battle Harden, and basically that was just it for top 8ing that day. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna relax, spend the rest of the day with my wife, and I had placed high enough that weekend. And had won a ton of tickets, and like I walked out, I think up like $1,000. I mean, you calculate the gambling and the cost of everything else.
It's Vegas.
It's hard to walk out of Vegas with cash in your pocket. But yeah, dude, it was. Long story short, I mean, it was incredible. Like, I couldn't even really describe to you guys. I really want you guys to come next year with me. Kind of already, in the plans.
Plan on it.
Yeah, we should just we should all plan on it and fucking bet on it now and the captain plan
I'm
This year
roping
just
Wesley
aligned-
into coming with us.
Yeah, no,
What's
this
that,
year.
Cliff? What'd you say?
This year it just lined it rough for me.
Yeah, no.
What, Cliff?
And it was kind of like
Bring
short
Wes
notice.
with us?
Oh, I've got him wrapped up.
Good.
He's coming
Get
with
more
us as
players
we
into
go.
the game.
Yeah, we'll go.
But no, it was
actually
just tough for
kinda-
me this year.
Yeah, it did, and it honestly was tough for me too. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my wife coming with, really.
A lot of life stuff.
Yeah, well, you just had a baby, man. You're part of the
Yeah.
Fab Dads now. Hashtag Fab Dad. Fab Dad in a Fab van.
Oh yeah. Hashtag Fab Dads, baby. Let's go. But no, it was just tough this year lining it up because she was just born. So
Yeah.
next year, hopefully it'll line up better and hopefully be in as good of a place as Las Vegas. I don't know if you could get much better. That's a great venue. I was gonna ask, how's the venue out there? Was it good? Did it
Yeah, it was
have a
good.
lot of space?
Yeah, I guess historically they played a lot of Magic there, a lot of different Magic Grand Prix and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, I guess. I was talking to a guy there that had played there over the years and stuff in the old Magic events. It's also located in a pretty good area. I know, like, you get into certain parts of the strip, dude, and it just starts smelling like sewage, and the homeless people, are just everywhere, and it's, most of the players didn't leave the hotel. I went out the one night with my wife, which was nice, but it's located in a pretty sweet spot, and you didn't even have to leave the hotel if you didn't want to. It had everything there for you, so.
Well, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
It also helps with just like going to bed on time, getting ready for the next day to an extent.
No, that's a big part of it too, is making, like, I'm sure the mental fatigue is real at those events where you're playing just game after game after game for hours.
Oh, it was unreal. Day 3, knowing I was like playing for stakes again, in the Battle Hardened, I was just like, and then losing that first game, day 3, it was just like I was just so checked out, and I had like missed my tunic, turn 0, ended up costing me later in the game where like I had the 3 of a kind with the perfect blocks off the 1 counter or the 1 tunic counter. You play the 3 of a kind with the rain, whatever. It was against an Icelander opponent, and those turns are super fucking super important. He had like nothing going for him that turn 2. It was like 1 frostbite, easy to get through. And yeah, so just like punted just from mental fatigue for sure. And Tanner and I stayed up and we gambled a little bit the night before. Little do I know, I wake up the next morning and he's just wired and jazzed up and ready to go. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, did you go to sleep last night? And he just looks at me, shakes his head no, with a big old Tanner smile.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he didn't even go to
im-
sleep that night.
I can't imagine trying to play something after just
It was
staying
wild.
awake all
Well,
night. Oh my god.
If you're gambling in Vegas, the drinks are free.
That's
That's true.
So, him and I were having a merry old time. But yeah, I went to bed. I went to bed at like 2 or 3. Woke up at like 5:30.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was, yeah. So definitely the wrong city for a card tournament like that, I'll say.
Wow.
But
Come on now.
I suppose.
well,
I
you
suppose, though,
just got to make smarter decisions next time.
Exactly. No, you're right. I was gonna say if you're taking it a little more serious,
Yeah.
And I was going into it with a level head, pretty casual with everything,
Yeah.
Also having my wife
Keep
there.
that cool.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Who are
But
you on for the events?
Mostly yeah, Lexi, and then the Shyana for the one 5-rounder.
Hmm.
It was
Yep.
funny because I would play Lexi in Blitz, and a lot of players would like kind of scoff or laugh, almost like, "Oh, I thought I'd get rid of," or I thought I could stay away from Lexi playing Blitz." It's like, well, she's actually still really strong in Blitz, and it's essentially the same deck.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I was like turn 2, turn 3 killing, people with that deck because you still get the double load, and you can start the game off super strong.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's even stronger in Blitz in a way. It just with how, I mean, you're starting at like half the life,
yeah, well,
but
and you can pump out
most
that
of your
20
cards are
damage.
the same.
Yeah, yeah, you run basically the same deck. I was searching for some perch grapplers that I had forgotten because I don't run those in the main board in CC or in the main deck. Um, but Benji was everywhere. I swear, a lot of people like Benji, and that extra block on those boots are nice for Benji.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't play a Benji, but um, yeah, I'm trying to like go through my notes here, and they're so scribbled and they're so crazy that like. I was definitely wanted to talk about the Dash game. Episode 4, I brought up the little sneaky tech against Dash where you just bring a null, no gloves for the 0 block on their T-bones. For whatever reason, big brain fart. I don't know what happened. Halfway through the game, he starts T-boning me, definitely boning me hard too here. And I look down and I don't have my nulls and my snaps. I burnt those early, so that was like also a mistake. And he proceeded to blow up my New Horizon. Played
Ooh.
the same guy the next day, brought in the spicy tech, and then T-Bone was just irrelevant the rest of the game. So, just one of
That's
those
tough.
ones. Yeah, it was funny. He was really good about it. All my opponents were real chill and real nice guys.
Yep.
But he's like, oh, so you brought the spicy tech in this time. I was like, yes, I did. I'm not gonna make that mistake again. It only takes one time.
And then was he just not on the T-bones there, or they just weren't
No,
hitting?
they just didn't line up. It happened where he like double T-boned me, and it was actually kind of brutal because like I said, I had burnt my snaps pretty early on like a 20 plus damage turn. I probably could have saved them. It got me out of a sticky situation too.
Mhm.
I had like a heat seeker hit, and it like loaded an arrow, and then I pondered into another red arrow, and that always kind of sucks. But there were 2 good red arrows, and if you like get lucky and draw a pump the next turn, you can kind of make snaps worth a lot.
Mhm.
But anyways, I burnt snaps, and then he double T-boned me, took my tunic and my hornet sting, and then it was just one T-bone after that. But the second game, it just never lined up for him. And I also had the tech, so there were a few times where I was blocking with the null.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just wasn't relevant. And the dash matchup is like weirdly close. It's just because they can definitely race and keep up with your damage. They actually can block better than you too. So all it takes is a little stumble, and dash can kind of have its way with you.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna say it. I love Lexi into Dash matchups, unless they throw in a bunch of ice stuff to constantly do the resource.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to devote a lot of the build into keeping that consistent to actually stonewall Dash.
Yeah.
Or like at the RTNs, you just have to roll into the red Arctic Incarceration for 4 turns in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Arctic
That was
Incarceration.
brutal.
Yeah. Arctic Incarceration was a really strong card for me over the weekend. I had 2 in the list. I actually don't run that against Dash. I probably could. I just feel like you run into the wrong Dash, they have enough blues to just not care about that card.
Yeah. Wow. Without hypothermia, that matchup is.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Lexi does get to use that card too.
Yeah.
When hypothermia was legal, I was just a big Icelander player, so I kind of never really
Oh,
played it
same here.
in Lexi. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we've had very similar Icelander and Lexi journeys.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I lost to 2 mechs. It's kind of scary with the new mech set coming out. I mean, there was actually a lot of Dash players I saw that weekend.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the mech players are a very devout group of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Oi.
It
What you trying to say?
I'm not saying it's like a cult, but I don't
Oi,
know.
careful.
Well, speaking of mechs, Cliff, did you see who won the cosplay event?
The data doll? Is that the one you're
Yeah,
talking about?
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got one thing to say. Wood.
Wood.
What?
Yeah. Oh, going off of last
Oh
episode,
god.
like your
Yeah.
dreams have come true, dude. Gosh, no,
Oh,
in
Do
person
dreams
though,
no,
come
but
that
did you
true?
guys see
Find out
the?
next time.
that costume was so incredible in person.
Did you? Yeah. So you got to see it in person.
Yeah, dude, I sat there and kind of watched the cosplay event in between the rounds. Um,
I see
but yeah,
the Marvel Taylor that he got from winning that. It was like a
Is it?
full Marvel
no,
cold foil.
I think
the
they
Taylor
are. I
card.
think they're all Marvel.
Yep, yeah, they're all Marvel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I thought they
backside
were
is
just
full art
cold
like
foil,
that.
the first one that was ever given out. I didn't know they made Marvel then.
Yeah. No,
Wow,
they're pretty
but no,
dope.
it was really cool and interesting. I mean, I couldn't imagine seeing the cosplay because I bet you see a bunch of different people like dressed up as different cards, like the Exude Confidence person and like the Dash Mechanoid won the last one.
Yeah, one
Cosplay's a
of the
huge thing in this game.
yeah, it was one of the best ones. Honestly, I don't know. You guys know the? I think it's a new card in this last set called Numbskull, where the brute is getting shot in the eye with the arrow, and he's getting shot like in the body with
Oh
arrows.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a guy with like
Yep.
an arrow, like the suction cup arrows taped to his body everywhere, and then he had one taped to his eyeball, just like the card.
Yeah.
That he was Numbskull, and he like did the pose like the art. It was
Oh,
great.
that's awesome.
I thought he was gonna win it until I saw the
Awesome.
Data Doll, and after I saw Data Doll, I kind of knew she was gonna win. I was like, "There, how did you not give it to her?"
That's
Yeah,
That's so amazing.
I'm looking at the Numbskull card right now, and they name drop the brute in the picture. So who knows? Maybe we'll be getting Bam Bam the Brute in an upcoming set.
His name is
Be
Bam
an
Bam.
interesting one.
Yeah,
I love it.
maybe in like Welcome
That's
to
definitely a
Wraith
brute
2
name there.
Electric Boogaloo, Bam Bam the Brute.
Oh, wouldn't that be
Uh.
interesting? We had Welcome to Wraith and then Return to Wraith as a set,
LSS, you
maybe.
guys know how to
Since-
reach out to me for the rights to that idea.
Well, why don't we get into some of the national champs that ended up over the weekend and who took the winnings on that? Starting with the U.S., we had Breyer taking the lead. Did you guys
What do you guys
expect the
what do you
Breyer
In
to win?
in a very
No, I don't think anyone did.
unconventional way too.
It isn't a bad idea, to be honest. Like, you think about it, all you have to do is hit an attack each turn. You're just blocking out with 2 cards while getting an embodiment otherwise while just blocking out defensively. It's one of the greatest things ever, and Charles Dunn is definitely a guy that knows how to play that. He's played Fatigue before with Oldhim.
Yeah, well, the whole deck list is very reminiscent of like the old him game plan.
Yeah.
Where instead of hammer, you got the what was he on? Reaping Blade. So it's
Reaping Blade.
not quite hitting that break point, but it's still. I mean, especially once you get down there, it's still demanding a card from hand every turn,
Yeah.
minimum.
I actually
And
so I didn't play against a single Briar, but I know it was basically the talk of the tournament, the defensive Briar. It was it took everyone by surprise. Well, all the players who aren't a part of those big teams by surprise, I should say. They all kind of knew that deck was there and formidable. I think, from what I heard, if you can leverage the embodiments in the Lexi matchup, you can actually kind of make that matchup somewhat favorable. Yeah, you just have to grind them out and take their Rainrazor turns, and they were even running the Crown of Seeds, right?
yeah, no, which I saw I saw a lot of things floating around about how maybe Oldham wasn't the problem, and it's Crown of Seeds,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
it was a
I
true
definitely
fatigue
think
deck.
there's some merit to that, but
How
Yeah,
would you guys say
yeah.
the stream was? Because I kind of didn't get to like watch the
Stream was
top
good.
8 and
it
stuff.
was excellent. They had some great casters on, for this one. They really knew what they were doing as far as keeping you engaged during the matches and even like in between matches.
Yeah.
I was a
And
big fan of those like guess the card things. I thought that was a neat little thing that they did.
I don't know if you were
Well, it
watching
just helps
the
them when it's
Twitch
not
chat
blank space.
during those segments, but there were so many people just throwing out like Pokemon names and stuff like that.
It's
DM
funny.
I
Armada even made a showing in the
tuned
comments.
tuned
He was
in
in
the
there
middle of
chatting it up.
one. Yeah, he was pretty active.
Did you
Since he
guys get
couldn't
to
be
watch the
there.
top 8?
Yeah,
Like the whole thing?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
As much as I could.
Yeah. So on day 3, I was basically like on and out of there before I went and caught the like tail end of Michael Hamilton's game. That was pretty surreal too, just to be like in the midst of all these professional players and like around these like people that I respect and like I listen to a lot of like I'm pretty sure I saw Tommy Fresh there, from Flesh and Pod, Michael Hamilton, Michael
Fresh
Fang.
and Buds, you mean?
Fresh and
Tommy
Buds, yeah,
Fresh.
my bad.
Fresh and Buds.
Logan, I'm thinking of Logan from Flesh and Pod.
Logan, yep. He was at
Yeah,
a
he
wedding, I
he
think.
couldn't
But
make
yeah.
it. Yeah, would have been nice to see him. I've only had the couple interactions with him when he's played in Minnesota, but there were always good ones. And but yeah, just like it was really just surreal. I'm kind of still soaking it all in, honestly, especially with the airport disaster and trying to get home.
Yeah, what happened there?
Oh God, dude! For whatever, well, I was gonna say for whatever reason, but I know the reason. Our flight got canceled due to maintenance issues, which I guess, hey, I guess I wouldn't want to fly in a plane that has fucking maintenance issues,
No.
especially when I'm terrified of flying in the first place. But yeah, so our flight got canceled Monday night. They tried to give us a ticket to fly to LAX and then back to Minnesota. Would have been an 8-hour flight. We said, fuck that. And they tried to fly us to Idaho and then to Minnesota. That would have been like a 12-hour flight.
Oof.
They had all these crazy like one-stop flights trying to give us a way to get home that night, but they were all just miserable flights. So we decided to sleep in the airport and get a flight to Detroit and then out to Minneapolis the next day. At like 5 a.m. I think. So we did that, and then we got to Detroit, and we were 20 minutes late to Detroit because of our plane pilot was late or something. So then we missed our
Jeez.
Minneapolis flight, so I had to sleep in the airport that morning for like 6 hours.
Oh, I didn't know you
until
missed
12.
the Minneapolis flight too.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. It was a nightmare. And I mean, we were running on like 2-3 hours of sleep within 28 hours.
That is the last thing that you want to deal with because you're just mentally drained from the whole
Well,
events and
yeah.
tournament and everything. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
like,
why I said I'm still kind of like going over and processing what happened because I didn't even have time to process it yet. Between that and even going back to work today, it was like, yeah. It was a lot.
That's
It was a lot.
very similar experience on that particular airline trying to head the opposite direction.
Yeah, I'll never fly with Spirit
Yeah,
again.
we
no, you
were
can't.
gonna head out there for one of our friends' golden birthdays and ended up just like sitting in the airport for 3-ish hours before they even told us that the flight was canceled. And then their solution was a flight to Denver with no connecting flights to Vegas. And that was about it. It just felt like we were getting the middle finger.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. It was kind of my first experience with that. And it just wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since Breyer won, we had Lexi coming in second. Back onto our train here. Sorry, guys. Um, Lexi took second. Icelander taking third. Another Lexi taking third, and then we had two Briars in the top 8. And then three Lexis and two Icelanders.
Was there
So,
a
do you
Dromai in the
guys?
top 8?
There was a
No.
Dromai Pheno Black. Yes, there was one
Yeah,
Dromai.
that I
Did you
tuned in
guys
for the
think that this
tail
would be
end
the
of that
list here for the
match.
top 8? What, Bailey?
It doesn't surprise me. No, I tuned in for the tail end of that Pheno Black Dromai match, and oh my god, that was rough to watch. I think I saw him play out 2, maybe 3 cards total.
Yeah, I heard he barely attacked or
Yeah,
anything.
Lexi just
Yeah,
came swinging.
Lexi was just firing on all cylinders. She
And
hit the gas and did not let up.
Lexi is a tough matchup for
Absolutely
Dromai, but
hung.
I'm glad to see one Dromai making it in there. We always
Yeah.
love to see,
That's
kind of
That's kind of the
see those
Dromai story,
illusionists make it
though.
in.
It's cool
Yeah,
to see that
never
it's,
can
you know,
convert.
She can get up there.
Yes.
She just can't convert.
Yeah, it's cool to see that it was Pheno too. You know, the old illusionist pro. He's played a lot of Prism back in the Monarch meta. Did pretty well with Prism. But yeah, Dromai never sneaking into a top 8 never really surprises me.
Yeah,
She's always going to kind of be there.
I feel
Who
like
knows?
she's
Maybe
always
we'll
just
see
kind of
Prism more often.
she's just kind of lurking in the shadows, always just waiting for one or two more cards that might help kind of push her over that line.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest surprise for the top 8 is probably the two Briars.
Yeah,
Yes. Briar
Obviously.
finally pushing past that LL point. Finally out of here.
Yeah.
What's your guys' thoughts on finally the Rosetta Thorn leaving the game?
Well, it's a long time coming, you know.
Yeah.
Lasvenia.
No, I think
but-
it was due to happen that it's too efficient to be fair.
Yeah, the split damage is
That's
just hard on that card.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's what's
Having
the other one that comes in for 4 but it splits at 3 and 1?
Galaxy Black, maybe.
I think it was, yeah, which is also LL'd, but
I don't know if that's the card, but I think that's what it
I
was.
think it is. It's not Nebula
Yes,
Blade.
I think it is. No.
Here, let me pull that shit up.
Yeah, pull
Yeah,
that shit up, Bailey.
Yeah, I guess technically Galaxy Black. So if you played a card from your banished, it gets +2, and then if it hits a hero, it deals 1 arcane. Which makes sense. That's not hard to do with Chain.
Well, that means that we also have 2 of the heroes out of Tails getting out of here. They're in the LL stage. Also over the weekend, we had a ton of Lexis taking over some nationals around the world. We had Lexi taking over the France nationals. We had the Portugal nationals. We also had her taking over the Calling Las Vegas that happened at the nationals here. We also had another one taking it at Iceland. So that leaves Lexi at 658 living legend points.
Yeah, she's
getting up there.
already up at she's gotten 258 points just this season. which
Yes,
is
that's a ton of
insane.
points.
Yeah. So she's nipping at the heels, starting to get up there. I don't know, do you think she'll surpass Icelander and go before she does?
I don't know. Icelander's a pretty good deck into Lexi if the right player is playing it. You know, you got some of those great players behind that deck like Majin Bay. Lucas Oswald played very well this weekend. We could see them take it down at Worlds. And Worlds is 200 LL points. So that could push Icelander over the top if she takes down Worlds.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised at all if Icelander LL's next or first before Lexi.
Yeah. That's
we do still have 2 more weeks of nationals, so that's a lot of points still on the board that can be
the
picked up.
the way it's looking right now though is Tails is looking pretty good to be the first set to have all of its heroes LL,
What does that mean for like the sealed
Yeah.
product?
or even like what does that mean in terms of like how good were like the elemental card pools and things like that?
Yeah, clearly very good.
Yeah.
Very very good.
It
Yeah,
it'll be
it'd be.
it'll
Go
be
ahead,
interesting
Josh.
to see if she actually pushes through that threshold this season. If she takes down Worlds and she wins a lot more nationals, we could see Lexi LL before Icelander. Just because she is the top aggro deck in the meta right now, and I would arguably say one of the best decks in the meta.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, wow.
Um,
So I don't know if you touched on this when you were going through the nationals results, but it looks like Reinar took one down.
Reinar took one down. I did not see that one, but I did see Kano took down the Philippines as well.
Or
So
it
we're
might have
seeing a
been a battle
variety of
hardened.
winners.
Yeah, that Kano was Singapore, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
No, the
from
Philippines. Kano was the
Philippines.
Philippines.
My bad, my bad.
That's pretty
No,
cool to see
you're
Kano
good.
win one.
We also had an Icelander taking down New Zealand as well. So Icelander's getting more points on the board there. And New Zealand's a big country, so she got quite a few from that one. You know, players above 96.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it is kind of
they
weird
kind of
though.
gotta represent on the home turf there.
It is weird though as we get more and more heroes kind of LLing. What I guess I kind of just thought about this. Like, what does happen to those sealed boxes? You know, like when Tails
I,
or with Tails now when Lexi gets LL, that'll be the entire set. Basically, those heroes are unplayable. Well, not unplayable, I suppose. They'll be in the
does
LL
it
format,
do
but
they go up in
just
price as they become sought after by the LL player base, or
I think they go down because I just think maybe like the LL format will be geared towards the entrenched player.
yeah, I think
I
I
don't know if
wouldn't
a
be
beginner is going to be playing LL right off the bat, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the sealed product prices drop, but the singles go up.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not to say you can't play Blitz with those heroes, right?
Oh yeah, I think most of them are still legal. I think the only one that isn't is Oldhim.
Yeah. Right.
They might just have to do another supplemental set like they did with Dusk Till Dawn to replace those heroes. But I don't know how you balance those heroes because it's just clear as day that the elemental heroes are so much stronger than most of the other heroes in the game.
Yeah.
The elemental is just so much better. So I'm thinking they might do another supplemental set to replace those heroes.
Yeah, and with like the way they have designed this game, it's actually kind of cool how they'll like all they really have to do is design a hero card and they kind of can rejuvenate an entire card pool, you know? Like if they
Yes.
just give us an elemental guardian, all of Oldham's cards now become playable again and maybe I mean they just have to do it in a good way and but I mean I think that's a good problem to have, like the ability to just if you like design a hero well, you can keep a card pool alive, you know? It's just kind
That
of
is
cool.
true. That
Yeah.
is true. Looking at the list, though, I do see a Dromai here, though, guys, with 50 points from the Nationals champs. So that
Oh,
means I think Dromai might have
she took
taken
down
a
something.
national champ.
Let's see here.
Wouldn't surprise me if she did. Dromai is an extremely solid deck.
We might see her actually finishing out some more points. Because she's at 178. She's got a long way to go.
Dang, Dromai's gonna be here for a while.
Yep. Patrol in those.
Not one of my favorite decks to play against. Oh, I did want to speaking of
No.
Dromai, I did want to shout out to Danny. I saw Danny there, and it was good to just shake his hand and let bygones be bygones. I told him to get his ass back to the shop, and yeah, he we were gonna do a team sealed on that last day. At the end of all the events, it was kind of like the last big thing that everyone was doing, and we didn't get a chance to. They had their plane to catch, and but yeah, I think we got one of our older players back, which would be great.
Be awesome to get a
Was he
Dromai back in
judging?
the shop.
That's what I told him too. I was like, we miss all of the Dromai practice we used to get. I felt
Was
so
he judging?
unpracticed. No, he was playing in the tournament.
He was there playing.
Yeah, he
Hey,
qualified through just XP, which was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Um,
Dang.
nice.
Good shit, Danny.
yeah, it was great. It was great to see him.
So after talking about some of the nationals here, boys, what are your thoughts on what we're gonna see at Worlds? Do you guys think we're gonna see a new hero rise that's gonna be defensive, kind of to fill that Briar gap to block out Lexi, or do you guys think that Lexi's gonna take it?
Well, that's so the is Briar gonna have rotated out by that point?
When's the next
It's-
BNR?
I feel
so
like they would
they're-
definitely do a BNR before because of
I think it's
when is
tied
Worlds
to.
again?
I think it's tied to the release of Bright Lights.
yes.
No. I'm pretty sure if a hero reaches the 1,000-point threshold, the next BNR they will announce like it rotating. I believe.
That's they usually.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a weekend after that or a month after that, whenever like the next scheduled BNR is, that's I believe is when we'll get Briar finally out of there, and I'm sure we'll get one before Worlds. So
Yeah, that's.
I'm going to
Do you
guess
think
that
we'll,
Briar will not be there in Worlds.
You think we'll see some copycat Briars at these battle hardens leading up to Worlds?
Oh yeah, I'm sure people will pick that deck up and try to play it. For sure. Why not?
Yeah. One final hoorah for Briar.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Runeblade, your typical Runeblade deck. But yeah, very cool to see just like that being the spicy tech, who would have thought Crown of Seeds?
Yeah.
It's a spicy tech, but yeah, that was the talk of the tournament, really. So
Yeah,
I did not
that's
get a
It's
chance.
just a
to
good
play one.
idea. You didn't see any other Briars in the calling or anything like that?
Mm-mm. No, I didn't get a chance to play one all weekend. Really, not even in the Blitz portions. I played against a lot of played next to a lot of Briars. Saw it around me a lot. I actually saw a lot of like Guardians too. But I was in the losing
A lot of
bracket.
Bravos.
Yeah.
and we're
So
we're
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of them on the more aggro kind of list.
Which one's the Briars?
Yeah.
So from
No, the
what
Bra
the Guardians were
Briars.
your typical
Well, I
Guardians.
was thinking Bravos. Well, I saw one of them in the Nationals was aggro. He was out there throwing enlightened strikes and then a hammer and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the Enlightened Strikes are for like
Just
the
going balls to the walls.
a lot of them have those in the sideboard for the Icelander matchup because you kind of can't pressure Icelander enough with like your huge cost attacks. It's like 7 mana or 7 resources for 11 damage is just not a good rate against a deck that gives you frostbites, So a lot of them are like going for the E-Strike into hammer stuff or Zealous Beltings and stuff. I think that's just the mainstay, though. Those are more sideboard options. Because
Yep.
I just don't see Bravo like
So I'm
that list
throwing it in the mirror.
changing much. Yeah, you could.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're going in the mirror, you have to go one way or the other. I mean, it's whether you want to sit there for a slog match, swing and hammer at each other if you both go defensive, or if you want to be throwing attacks.
What do we got? Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I do agree that it definitely depends on Icelander's matchup. You want to be throwing out those cheaper costs,
Yep.
doing more
Just,
attacks.
The idea, I guess.
kind of circling back to Worlds here. So it looks like Worlds is in November with the next scheduled announcement September 19th. So she will be gone by that point.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
Because
what I
that's the
thought.
end of nationals, and I think that's when they start, doing their
Yeah,
DNRs, checking out decks, seeing what they can do for the meta. But I mean, do you think? I think Worlds is gonna have the bright lights set, be their
yeah,
draft set,
yep.
correct?
Worlds will be. I think they're drafting bright lights, which that's gonna be such an interesting limited environment.
People are gonna
Just
be practicing like crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait for the crack shuffle play stuff.
all
It's gonna
the
be a completely different type of draft where everything is towards one deck. So players are definitely gonna have to get used to that and practice a ton.
yeah. That's I don't think I've ever once since I started playing this game even like picked up a mech deck. So that'll be an interesting one going into pre-releases.
Rick's over
Yeah,
here
I've
licking his
played
chops,
2 or
ready to go.
3. Oh yeah, he is.
Yes. Yes,
I've
I
played maybe 2 or 3
am.
mech games or piloted mech decks. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I've played a few. I'm ready to
it'll
go.
be interesting. Um, Talking about mechs though, we got a new one spoiled just a few hours ago. In Professor Teklavas.
Yes.
yeah,
Has anyone
I
looked at
gotta
it
pull
yet?
that up.
Yeah, pull that
Pull
shit up,
that up.
Ty.
That no,
Mm.
I'm excited for that. That's gonna help us get into more UPF and then potentially like multiplayer
Yeah,
PvE.
the ability on him looks pretty strong for those Evo synergies.
Yes, it does. And they
Um,
spoiled some Evo equipment with him as well.
yeah,
You wanna read
I
that?
was
You
looking
wanna
at it.
read that ability, Bailey?
Yeah, so Professor Teklavasen, he's got the same ability as the Bright Lights Teklavasen in that he can play Evos from his banish zone. But he's got the additional ability that Evos cost one resource less to play for each opposing hero.
Oh,
So, I mean,
definitely an ultimate pit fight guy.
even in constructed though, I mean that's discounting it by one every time.
Yeah. See. So I guess the question becomes: are these going to be constructed playable or blitz playable?
I would imagine. I don't see any reason why they couldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of like, I mean, some of them definitely do not look viable in constructed like blitz play.
Well, if you look at the
Um,
Bard, it's create, quicken, token under each other hero's control is one of the actions when you
yeah.
do songs. So it looks definitely towards PvE UPF type of style
The
What's
Bard
the
for
for
some
sure.
ability?
heroes.
The ability
So
gives
The
quickens. I thought it
ability
was
on the
copper.
melody,
no, so Melody's ability is
well, it's
whenever
copper
you
for her ability, but one of the cards that you play is a song. So it's an action song, and it's
Yeah,
create a quicken token under each other hero's control.
I'm looking at all the songs right
Another
now.
one, each other hero gains +1.
Song
Create a
of
vigor
Jack
token
Equip.
under each other heroes.
yeah, and not each hero, but each other hero. So
Yes.
I don't know. Even in UPF, that seems like, well, are you just hoping they don't attack you because you're being nice and giving them stuff?
Yes. Well, that also gives me a chance to get a new bard weapon. Hey, hey, for Yorick, even though Yorick's banned.
Not in
This
UPF.
Yes, he is. In sanctioned events, he is.
In sanctioned events, yeah.
These songs are leading me to believe that you're gonna be like working together against the boss or something.
Yeah,
Boss card or
Yes.
boss
these
deck.
seem definitely more PvE
Yeah,
than
because like
even
even
like
in Ultimate Pit Fight, you're
UPF.
not trying
Like,
to help your opponents per se.
yeah,
Very
that's
weird.
The new Guardian looks interesting too.
The art on the Guardian
Looks
is
like you're doing
definitely
a.
dope.
very
Yes, it is. His weapon is
Bravo-esque.
cool. It's it's gonna be cool to see. They even brought Ira back, and Ira looks like she does some wild stuff with some Crouching Tiger. They
Some of the
brought back
new
some new Majestics.
The
Mullen
new
Kai.
rare equipment that Ira is getting looks pretty interesting too. The Mask of Three Tails is it's like it's an instant speed Mask of Momentum that you get to use once.
You don't have to
So
do it in a row. Wow, look at that. It says instant. Destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if you've hit 3 or more times this combat chain.
yeah, so
That's good.
Interesting.
that still, I mean, especially if you don't have access to a Mask of Momentum, that seems like a really good alternative. But even just not having to have the hits in a row and getting that one good
Well,
turn.
Ninja kind of has been lacking like a decently good mask for anything that's really Crouching Tiger based. I mean, you can always do your Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, but that's a whole combo turn for the Crouching Tigers. They also came out with a new Majestic for the Mauling Kai combo. When this hits, if Crouching Tiger was the last
Hold on,
attack
hold
this
on.
combat chain.
You gotta mean the Mauling Chi, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I wasn't
It
gonna
is
say
Mauling Chi.
anything, but
I
Um,
had to.
no, you're good, but it's just deal 1 damage to each opposing hero.
yeah. So I
And then you
mean,
got Growl,
It seems
the
good.
rare.
Those weird deal damage cards are always like sneaky good, I think.
yeah,
Plus the 1 for 5 block 3 on that card just seems strong.
yeah. You also get a
Where you want to be.
pretty nicely constructed um, deck box that holds up to I think like 1,000 unsleeved cards. Nice like bright
The deck
lights
box
themed
is
kind
cool.
of card holder.
It is
Oh
cool
yeah,
that they're giving
I'm
out
looking
more
at that
things.
now. Nice.
And then
And the playmat's
the
very interesting
playmat
of the
looks
metrics.
very cool too. Yeah. I
See,
don't know.
why
I
give
think
us a big box like that with only 4 decks unless there's some other like boss deck? This is very
Ah,
weird to me.
well, you're getting the playmat with it.
Yeah, okay, that's probably. I suppose it would tell us right here if it was some other 5th deck, right? We can just look at the product configuration and
Yeah.
know that it's straight up Ultimate Pit Fight, not PvE.
Yeah, which is interesting because, like you were kind of saying, a lot of the cards look very good for PvE,
Mm-hmm.
but even for UPF, I'm not sure about some of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's good
Looking
for the
like
game. Hopefully that'll
MSRP.
draw more players in. Because
Yeah.
you kind of
I
get
mean,
everything for UPF with this set.
$70 is
and
kind of
that's
expensive too. I don't know about that. It's kind of. I
I
mean, I
mean,
guess we
yeah,
don't know the full deck list.
you're
That
getting
is
into sealed
that is
box
true.
territory at that point, but there
Mm-hmm.
is
But
the
splitting that between 4 friends, that's not terrible. It's less than $20 a piece, so.
No, yeah.
winner of the first UPF round gets the mat.
You could do something like that. Get them into it, but it looks like they will have an event type thing for it with the Bard on a poster, and they'll have a playmat of the Bard with some of the equipment and such.
Yeah,
That's
If
that.
cool.
you
They're giving
scroll
us another
down
bard.
in the link.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
there's a whole armory kit. It almost looks like I don't know.
A
Yes.
poster and everything, yeah.
Social play kits, yeah.
Some
Oh,
promos.
GS's.
You get her violin or whatever. That's
Oh,
cool.
it's a new type of kit. In addition to the armory kits. Um, yeah, it looks like cold foils of the hero or the weapon.
Correction, it is a fiddle, not a violin.
Yeah, same but different.
Same.
Yeah, no, so that'll be interesting. That comes out relatively soon too. I think it's like the first or second week of September. Nope, I lied. The 29th. Never mind.
So about a
Is that with
month.
the pre-release kit from
Yeah.
Bright Lights? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to make sure Legends orders some of those. Make sure to talk to your LGS to see if your LGS can get you some of these, because this would be a great pickup and could potentially help get other players into the game, learning about UPF and such. Kind of gets that round table aspect.
Yeah.
But
Even
I'm
the
very excited for this set. I think it'll be very cool, and I wonder if Teklovasan, the professor, will be viable. It'll be cool to see if he is.
I wonder why they named him Teklovasan.
yeah,
I don't know.
maybe he's Howard Stark's like cousin or something. I mean, Tech Levasson's cousin. Sorry, wrong universe.
Yeah, I wonder if it's almost is it a name? Do we know for sure, or is it a title maybe, or?
It might be a title.
From what I've
I haven't seen
seen,
anything in the lore
it's supposed to be
leading
a
up to
name
it.
from everything I've seen.
Hey Cliff, why
With-
don't you get into some of these Evo things? We should go over some of these armor pieces. I think that the
Are you
prof
talking
gives us.
about
I haven't
the
really-
profs?
Yeah, profs at Evo Teklo stuff.
Yeah, they I don't know, I'm just looking at them and I don't know, they don't have the Teklo blaster in with the spoilers, but so the Teklo
Mhm.
blaster is a new weapon as well. Um that was spoiled on his big like YouTube reveal. I don't remember much. I know it's 3 resources to attack for 3, and I can't remember if it even has go again.
Interesting.
That just means
But
Mech's getting another weapon here. They're gonna be loaded up with an arsenal of weapons. They already have 4. This will be the 4th one coming out on top of all the weapons inside the bright
what are
light set.
are you counting Talishar as one of their weapons?
No, this next one will be the 4th because they have
This
the
next one will be the
Technoplasma
4th.
pistol, the plasma barrel shot, and the Hanabi blaster.
Plasma barrel shot. Am I like just forgetting about a
Yes, it's
whole
from
weapon?
Crucible. It's not that good. Not a lot of people use it.
Well, I mean,
No.
I don't remember hearing it, but what is it? Plasma barrel shot?
Yes. Ty, you remember this card?
Mm, I do not remember the name of
Oh, this thing. Yeah, not great.
You want to read it
No.
off, Bailey? You want to let people know how
Yeah,
bad it
so,
is?
so
it. Oh yeah, that thing. Moving on.
it attacks for X. Once per turn action, remove a steam counter from plasma barrel shot attack. Action, 2 resources. If there are no steam counters on plasma barrel shot, put a steam counter on it. Go again. X is equal to 1 plus the number of times you've boosted this combat chain. That kind of surprises me that it doesn't see at least some play.
We might see
It's
it now
because,
because of the new dash, the boost, viable dash. So we might see more play of it
why
now.
would you use
But
that instead of Hanabi?
that's a good
Hanabi is
question.
just better. Just better.
That's a good question. What is it called, Cliff?
I call it
Hanabi.
Hanabi. Whatever y'all call it is wrong.
Well,
Here we go. Okay, so I got the
that
Teklo Blaster 2 from the round the table. So it's just a straight up once per turn action, 3 resources attack for 2, not 3. So not
Attack reaction mech, let's go!
doesn't look like the greatest weapon. But
Unless we're going to be seeing a lot more items that play into buffing the mech weapon. More stuff like induction chamber and the plasma purifier.
maybe that's the weapons look like they don't deal too much damage. Like Ira doesn't have a weapon listed. I'm guessing it might be Edge of Autumn.
Probably.
ooh, maybe we get a new weapon with her.
You never. I mean,
Well,
hey, you never know.
I think in the lore, her weapon is Edge of Autumn, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably give us Edge of Autumn, I'd imagine, to keep it, you know, even though that card kind of sucks.
Yeah, what was it? It's
Yeah.
kind of funny the timing of
Pay
it too,
1 for
'cause
1, go again.
Just a
Automatic go
Kadachi,
again.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's a
Yeah.
Kodachi with built-in go again.
Yeah, it's a
It's
Kodachi
a
without the
two-hand.
stipulation.
It's a two-hand Kodachi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can only
Yep.
have one.
Uh,
See, I honestly think the Zephyr Needles are more viable, but not in the long game. In Blitz, most definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not in CC. You play those on someone in CC and they just break them when you
Yeah,
throw them.
yeah. Unless
I
you have them
saw
in the sideboard, hey, you never know. You could flick a dagger at someone.
I saw a double Zephyr Needle Benji
Yeah, flick knife.
Blitz. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
Zephyr Needles are good in
it's not
Benji.
bad. But
Feels weird to
Her
run
her
those in Blitz
ability,
now, though, with people being able to run sinks in the sideboard and shit.
yeah.
yeah. But if you utilize them correctly, you can make it so then they go up to 3. So then most of the time they can't break them.
Yeah.
But that's just
But
for the one though.
yeah,
Because I don't think
you only use one most of the time.
it hasn't been uncommon to see like Zephyr Needle and then Kodachi or something like that. But you were saying you were seeing like double Zephyr Needle Benjis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just seems, I don't know, not as good as Zephyr Kodachi.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the hell the guy was doing.
Hey, I kind of like the double Zephyr Needle, but maybe that's just my stance. But what else did we have any listener questions this week? Did we have
We had Dylan's from last week that we didn't get a
That we
chance
didn't
to
get
go
to.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, in short, he asked what combination of either class talent or class, I think is what he asked. The class thing probably is not going to happen outside of the Emperor. They said that's not going to happen much,
Yeah.
if at all. So we could just maybe shorten the question to what hero or what class / talent would be coolest to us to come out in the game next.
Shadow Mech. Next question.
You cannot. That's like the low hanging fruit one, right?
Yeah, I mean we're
Everyone-
kind
You're
kinda
right.
getting that
you're
with
right,
the
you're right,
Evos.
Cliff.
Mech.
Yeah, it
You-
does
you
feel
think
like
about
that
it, though?
with the Evos.
any Shadow aggro hero is gonna be good because if you do like a Shadow Ninja, they're gonna be just as good if they can play from their banish zone.
Yeah,
That was definitely
It's
not my
just
answer.
You're right.
think about it
Basically
like
any
that.
class. Yeah.
That's it. It would be so good and disgusting. That's what made Chain great.
Yeah.
Just
know
the
what?
aggro aspect, being able to throw cards from your banish with
Give me
pitching your
Rune
others.
Chance and Dash. Let's get it.
Mix things up a little bit. Let's see a Shadow Illusionist. Maybe
I would love that.
maybe they
that'd be
summon the demons as allies, instead of your token
Shadow Prism. She goes all dark and shit.
instead of your token
Oh.
Nazareths and whatnot, you get them as actual allies.
Can't be saying that after Shyana just gave her the light.
Hold on. Nah, you see, instead of just going for a Shadow Illusionist class, why don't we just scrap that entirely and just say bring the Necromancer in? Because I have to imagine he's going to operate something like Dromai or other illusionists, right? He's going to summon the undead, and they're going to be like the token warriors out there, just like they are in every deck. But the Necromancer class from that
But they're like allies.
Yeah.
Zombie allies.
That's
or
what I'm
something.
excited for. It's in the lore book. It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, right
They
alongside
could
the
be a hero in the game
alchemist that
soon.
we're waiting for.
For me to answer Dylan's question, I would have to say give me a Draconic Warrior. Kasai.
That
Give
would
me
be
an
really
adult
cool.
Kasai that's Draconic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
She's from Volcor, right?
Oh.
So
Yeah.
No, boys.
She's
you-
got the
boys,
she's
you're
got the
thinking about this
draconic
wrong.
border.
yeah.
She does. She
If
she
they get
learns the
beside
Draconic ways.
Draconic thing, she gets to do Uprising into a blood on her hands. No, thank you.
Dang right. Dang right. You'd have to make a Draconic weapon
Draconic
for her then.
weapon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe she could have
However,
like 2 flaming sabers or something. Call it smoldering or flaming. I don't know, something along those lines. But that'd be I think I've heard talk about it that they say that they might make a Kasai adult draconic potentially. So let's go LSS. Send it out.
Yeah, no,
I would
that
say I've thought about this question for a little bit, and I would say something like a light guardian would be really cool, like to give us kind of a paladin class. I was always huge into paladins in World of
Yep.
Warcraft. I remember I only played Horde, which was like orcs and trolls and Taurens, these like big cow guys. But the Horde could never be paladins. Paladins were strictly the Alliance side, and we got shamans. I was like, fuck a shaman, fuck a shaman. You know, I wanted to be a paladin, but the second they gave us paladins on the Horde side, it was like that's all she wrote. I played paladins from then on out. So I've always been a big fan of like I mean, like old him really, like that big kind of guardian type of character, big tanky guy.
yeah.
But in this case, incorporate the guardian with light. I don't know how you'd be able to do that because it would just feel so strong and tanky and just unfun. I bet.
Well, look at some of the defensive cards we saw in Dust Till Dawn that got released for light. If
Yeah.
somehow a Guardian was able to get access into those and utilize them,
I'm
no
just
thanks.
I'm just imagining an Arclight Sentinel type card with Guardians, and I'm shivering.
Oh.
Be a
No,
tough
I'm sorry,
balance.
Cliff. Were you scared, or did you just like bust a nut? What was that?
that was a groan of terror. That's what
Oh.
that was. Also, I've noticed that we haven't talked about what one class that would be cool to see rolled into another one. What class do you think would benefit Archer the most, or Ranger?
Like which that's a good question.
Wizard.
That would kind of be cool. Instead of having like a regular bow, they've got some like staff that they can pay one to summon a bow or draw a card.
Oh, that would be so broken.
That'd be neat though.
Pay one resource, draw a card. Oh no, you could not do that.
That'd be
Cliff,
your only
Voltaire's already a
activation mode.
controversial weapon right now.
Yeah.
We don't need anything like that.
That's
I-
because you get the 2 activations off of Voltaire.
I've seen a
That's
lot of
why.
people calling for Voltaire to be banned. And
Who's gonna use it?
I don't know about that one. Yeah, what are you gonna like shoehorn Lexi into like Shiver or Death Dealer?
Dreadbore.
I get
Lexi
she's kind of a menace right now, but I don't think we need to go that far. I could be biased though. I play a lot of Lexi.
While it would shut Lexi down, it would be too detrimental to their main meta deck right now. If they cut Voltaire, that just completely breaks their 3-of-a-kind turns.
Yeah.
Then they would have banned all the majestic weapons for all the heroes in Tales of Aria.
If you ban
Mhm.
Voltaire, you soft ban New Horizons.
Yeah.
Conversation over. I mean, you can't.
Well-
you just can't ban Voltaire.
No.
New Horizons becomes
You can't.
unplayable.
I mean, Barbed Castaway kind of helps, but at the same time, it doesn't.
No, not in Lexi.
Well, how do you give the arrows go again? With Barb Castaway
For
and New
my ra-
Horizon.
That's true.
No, I'm
Razor
saying in Lexi,
reflexes,
like,
baby.
Yeah, in Lexi you can't without
reflexes
Voltaire.
and lead the charge.
You become reliant on Bolton shots and the Falcon Wings.
Yep. And you're not even like running the pumps in Lexi, which is funny because like the Voltaire with Bolton shot is even like kind of gross because you pump it, you get the
Yeah,
extra
you
one
pump
value.
it,
Yep.
you just give it go again right away, and
Yep. Yeah.
I honestly think you don't do anything with Rangers. I think you just leave them and you
I'll be
just
honest.
let them be with their bow.
I have such fucking Lexi fatigue right now. I will not be picking that deck up in a long time. Now,
Taking
does
to
that mean
Icelander
I'm
till
not gonna
she's
be?
LL.
Does that mean I'm not gonna be playing Rangers? I don't know if I can if I can answer that definitively, but I will not be playing Lexi.
it's gonna be on Riptide.
Close. Speaking of
Close?
that, I gotta.
Azalea.
What do
I'll
you mean
probably
close?
run into Azalea. And
That's
Yeah, there we go.
I
the fuck
just
around.
tossed mine back together, and she's still fun. She still gets hosed hard by Warmonger's Diplomacy. Speaking of Warmonger's Diplomacy, can we talk about how that card was the absolute MVP of the finals at US
Oh,
Nats?
Yeah, again, dude, I
absolutely
think it
saved
really
that
won
On that
Briar.
three of a kind turn.
finals. You guys will have
Oh
to kinda
my
tell
god.
me.
Oh yeah, at
The
the end,
energy in the
fatigued out the Lexi.
stream when that, I don't know if you saw it happen in person, but the energy on the stream when that happened was crazy. Like it, I mean, you could just tell.
Can you go over
that
what
that-
happened?
Yeah, so Lexi was setting up. It was like a late game. She was almost fatigued out. I think she had like 2 or 3 cards left in deck. And she was setting up with Codex of Frailty and was it a Rain Razors? It wasn't a 3 of a kind. I think it was a Rain Razors.
Yes.
Lemons
No, he did
but-
have three of a kind.
Yeah. Oh, I
Because
suppose you
you,
had to
you
draw
can still
the.
play instance. It was
Yeah.
a three of a kind.
He might have had both, but he was setting up for a
Um,
pretty big turn, and honestly,
He did.
it was looking like the game was gonna swing in his favor that turn. And Briar ripped a Warmonger's Diplomacy off the top, and Lexi chose War. And I think he
You
was
have
able to
to.
fire off like 1 arrow,
Oh no.
and it completely bricked his turn. And I've never seen it happen in person or live until that point, and I completely understand what people are saying when they say it's like time walking your opponent. Like it
Yep.
was ridiculous.
Yep. If it lines up, that's what it kind of feels like.
Yep, the Lexi had spent this last little bit of the game, not last little bit. There's a lot of thought, planning, and delicate pitching to try to get that pitch stack for that turn to line up since about the midway point of that game.
And
Nice.
And the Lexi had finally gotten all the cards set where, he wanted them. The next turn was going to be the last turn in the game because Lexi had Briar. And seeing that Warmonger's Diplomacy hit, completely shutting off Lexi's turn, it was like, wow, that is a powerful card.
that they even asked Dunn at the end if he had lined it up like that and pitch stacked it away, and he at some point in the mid game had played out his remembrance and just shuffled away his entire pitch stack. So it was a true top deck clutch Warmonger's Diplomacy.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I got to perfectly pitch stack my well, I won't say perfectly because it was the game I tied and knocked me out of top 8 for the PTI. I was playing against a trap Lexi basically, or like a fatigue Lexi, and the guy cut all of his Rain Razors in the matchup, so he didn't run a single Rain Razors. He ran Frailty traps. He ran, I think, some other trap. I forget exactly which one. Codex of Inertia is in the main board. Anyways, I pitched all my Rain Razors. The first time I saw all of them, when I kind of realized what he was doing, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need these late game. Started pumping out these crazy turns. I mean, frailty after frailty after frailty, getting through them. I feel like there wasn't a turn I did not have a frailty in that matchup. So it was just
That's
it
tough
was
as
such
a
a
Lexi.
hard, yeah, it was hard fought. I mean, the guy's deck was great. It was cool to see him. I mean, it was definitely a homebrew. He built it to try to beat all the Lexis, which was cool. It's a lot similar to the deck that I had built at first with my traps that I ran in kind of the RTN seasons. But yeah, we were both at 1 at the end of the game. Time got called, and he had no cards in his deck. I had, I think, 3 or 4 cards in my deck, and he didn't want to concede. So I chose not to concede either. I kind of regret that. I should have probably just conceded. His deck really did beat mine or stop mine from winning, I suppose, but he was kind of a sharky player, I guess. So I just wasn't in the mood to concede to a shark. So, but that kicked me out of the top 8, which was kind of a letdown. But
Yeah.
I hate to see it when that
such as
happens.
cards.
Yeah, the 3 of a kind rain razors. I think I pitched all 3 of, or like it was perfect. Like those, I lined them up perfectly at the end of the game, and so close, but
Yeah. Oh,
so
it
far.
just feels so rewarding too when your pitch stack lines up exactly like you had it planned out. It's
Mhm.
time and time
Yeah.
again.
Looking
I
back
think we've said
now,
it
if
on
I run
here.
the
It's
yeah
it's like the most difficult aspect of the game. And
yeah recognizing what he was doing early is what kind of allowed me to do that.
Mhm.
No, early I saw rain razors, and this was after a turn of like a frailty trap he played on me. I think turn 1. It's so funny when they play that against your endless. You're expecting your endless to always like grab a piece of armor, a 2 block, and they frailty trap it. It's like, oh, it's so frustrating. But yeah, it is nice to see that in action. At a high stakes tournament like that too, against a good player. I mean, the guy was a good player, probably better than I was, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, it's just like there's levels to it, man. Um, the pitch stacking is like it's so, even for me, is like hard to do, and that was kind of the only time this weekend that it really came up.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
Great. Well,
we had
to
we had
loop
a
back, did we have any other
second
listener questions?
we had a
Or was that...
second question from Dylan. And he asks, "Do you guys think Briar LL's at Nats?" I
you
do.
did ask that. You're right.
I do. I absolutely do.
You're right.
I'm
Shout out
looking
to
at
Dylan for
I
my
calling
think
it.
that now.
I'm looking at my response here, and a week ago, it's like, God, I hope so. And here we are a week
Me and
later,
Carter both
and
were like, nah,
he
probably not. Too
gone.
many Icelanders. Just
Yeah,
realistically, she's, and then little did we know, someone was working on that deck for probably months.
probably.
Well,
Honestly, think what really
keeping the spice to themselves.
I think what really saves
Happens
that
a lot, man.
Briar matchup into the Icelanders is the Diactic Carapace.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a
That was
very
all
efficient piece of armor
Isn't
into
it AB2 as
Icelander.
well?
It's AB2 and
AB,
then it's a temper
82
2
temper
block.
2.
That's pretty good.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
just all around solid.
You get to block with it
use
a
it
little
for
bit
that
more
2
there.
block on their
Yep.
Wounded Bull or Raging Onslaught or
Yep.
whatever, and hang on to a couple of extra cards, and then it's just AB2 the rest of the game.
Oh my god, this kind of reminds me. This will be my last little story from the tournament. But this is like the biggest fucking blunder. It just goes to show like the convention fatigue of it all, man. I was playing against an Icelander. Late game, I had it pretty much in the bag, but late in the game he attacked me with a Findle's Fighting Spirit, and I had my Sunken Treasure out there, and for some reason I thought to myself, let's just get some value out of this chess piece before I kill him, and I'm, just to be safe. I think I was at 13 or 14, so I'm still within kill range.
Mm-hmm.
And then and after I block with the Sunken Treasure for one, or I block with like 2 cards and block with the Sunken Treasure, I look down and I'm just like, oh, that had AB. Now I'm sitting with 1 AB with my gloves on, and the Icelander player after the game is like, "Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck you were doing there, man." And it's like, "Yeah, I luckily won that game, but I did not deserve to win that game at all."
You're like, that's okay. I didn't know what I was doing either.
Yep, that's what I said. I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm just like so fatigued at this point."
If I don't know what I'm doing, neither do you. There's a benefit to it.
So bad, just so bad. Like, it's just the dumbest, most numbskull play.
Yeah. No, those will happen under the fatigue.
Yep.
But
Under the bright lights.
I know some of us gotta work early in the morning. Some of us earlier than
Oh,
others. Looking at you, Cliff.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a short night, boys.
Enjoy your
For
4 or
anyone
5 hours
listening,
of sleep.
we might have sounded a little sloggy this episode. There's just a lot going on with everyone. We kind of had to
Yeah,
rush and
we're
get this episode
recording
recorded.
on a Wednesday night. It's
Yes.
12:30 for us. We had to kind of pushed things back with Tyler being in Vegas for the weekend and the flight getting canceled and all of that whatnot.
It's my fault. You can blame me, guys.
But wanted
Oh, we
to
don't play the blame game here.
at least get together so we could go over results and everything, so we weren't a week behind again. We'll be back on our regular schedule next week.
I'd say we got a little bit rewarded too with the professor
But yeah,
stuff
with the
coming out tonight.
roundtable stuff, yeah.
We did.
Gave us a segment.
We did. That's nice.
But I what and well, I suppose we'll talk about all that later about what we're gonna be talking about on Sunday. I'm like going off on a tangent now too.
That's all right.
All right, we'll get back to you guys next Wednesday. We'll be back on a normal schedule here since everybody's back. But we really appreciate you guys coming in today and listening to our 5th episode on Big Deck Energy. And we'll be coming at you guys with more updates on Nationals. All right, gents.
Absolutely.
Shall we get out of here?
Yes.
As always, a
So-
pleasure.